Welcome, everyone. I'm Jackie Morey, and welcome to today's episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters Show. And today I am so excited about today because today is going to be epic. I'm interviewing none other than the catalyst, Jeffrey H. Watts. And before I do that, I would, of course, like for you to first type in who you are, where are you hanging out from? Let us know so we can greet you. And let me put the big screen on Jeffrey. How are you doing today, Jeffrey?
I am amazing, getting better all the time. So it's good. It's exciting to be here.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for being with me live and being with all of us here live on this episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters Show, Jeffrey.
Well, thank you so much. I've been looking forward to this and getting some time to spend with your tribe. So it'll be a great day.
Thank you. Thank you. And as usual, we want to start off this of the show with gratitude. What are you grateful for today, or who are you grateful for today? So please, if you don't mind typing that into the chat room, I would love that. And I'm going to read who the names and those who are here. Welcome, Dr. Becky. Dr. Becky says, good afternoon from me and Gary in Phoenix. Welcome and good afternoon, Dr. Becky and Gary. Carmen hanging out from South Colorado. Hello to you, Carmen. Tanisha. Hi, Tanisha. Tanisha is hanging out from New Jersey. Welcome. Joanne is here today, and good afternoon to you too, Joanne. Joanne says, good afternoon, Jackie and Jeffrey. And then let's see here. Who else is here? Steve is hanging out from Montana. Wow, Steve, welcome. And then let's see here. Jeffrey is grateful for his spouse. Wonderful. Isn't that wonderful to have someone that you can share life with and walk with you the whole time? And then I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for our children. And right now, my husband, I'm because he's taking our children out so that I can do the show. Actually, Michael has a swimming lesson, so they're grabbing lunch after the swimming lesson, so they're going to hang out. It's a dad time. And Dr. Becky is grateful for new beginnings. Indeed. Tanisha is grateful for her mom as she continues to impart wisdom into Tanisha. Wow, awesome. Dr. Jessica is here. Hi, Dr. Jessica. It's good to be with you. Welcome, welcome. And right now, we are in the green room. So right now we're in the green room. We're interacting live with you. Then we're going to do the interview. To have the epic contest. Well, before the contest, we're going to do the bonus. We're going to give you Jeffrey's bonus for all of you who wait until the end and watch live. And then we're going to have the question and answer, and then the epic contest of course. And today we have amazing prizes, and I will let Jeffrey a little bit later on. But please, right now, if you don't mind, I'm going to quote somebody, Seth Godin. He says, leadership is the art of giving people a platform for spreading ideas that work. So if you don't mind sharing this show, this episode with your family, your friends on Facebook, there is going to be a Facebook icon, and it says post or share, and there's going to be a Twitter icon at the bottom right of your screen right now. So please, if you don't mind sharing, that way you can get as many friends as possible into this live webcast, because the contest involves having the most people and most friends in this episode live with you till the very end. That way we can tally who has the most. And the top 4 are going to win incredible prizes. And Jeffrey, do you mind showing them maybe a little bit about the prizes today? That way it'll incentivize them to share this episode, please.
I would love to. Well, you know, the first prize is really exciting because they're going to get 2 free tickets to go and see my friend Brendan Bouchard at High Performance Academy in San Diego, and that's worth $2,000. I think that's a pretty nice prize for someone on the call today. And I know you're going to go over all of the different prize levels in a minute, but this is a life-changing event. I've been, my spouse has been, and it has been revolutionary in putting that in place. And in addition to that, we're going to be giving away some hard copies of Brendan's latest bestseller, which is Life's Golden Ticket. And the question there is, what if you were handed a ticket that could magically start your life anew? And that's what this book is all about, and we're excited to be able to provide those for your viewers today.
My goodness, that is so generous of you, Jeffrey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, folks, aside from the High Performance Academy tickets, you'll also get the chance to win those books, a also a strategy with me for the second. I think that is the first prize, and then you'll also get lifetime access to one of my online courses called Turbocharge Your Bestseller. So a lot of prizes. So please share. Dr. Jessica has already shared this. So thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing this episode. Again, you're welcome to please share this on Facebook and Twitter. You'll find the eye of your screen. Invite your friends, invite your family on Facebook and or on Twitter, and then invite them to come in. Perhaps you will get the chance to win the High Performance Academy tickets. There are going to be two for the first prize, and I think there is I can't remember, but I'm going to go over. I'm going to have my so this is the green room. I'm going to have my the meme that I did and posted on Facebook. Tanisha shared it. Awesome. Dr. Becky has shared it. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick poll. Poll number one. I'm going to do a quick poll, and here is: do you feel stuck in any area of your life? Yes, no, I don't know. I may have gaps and blind spots. So if you don't know, you can feel free to be very honest. Now, this poll that we do on Webinar Jam is completely anonymous. Webinar Jam set it up such that we don't know who is answering what. And I love that because it protects your privacy, and we can know the answer. I mean, we can know the percentage of those who answered a particular question without knowing who you are and what your name or address is. So please fill it out, yes or no, or I don't know. I don't know if I'm stuck in any area, and that's just being integrous. Okay. So far, 100% say yes. 100% of those who fill out the poll say yes, and that's awesome because you are self-aware. You know that, okay, I feel stuck in a certain area. And there's 25%. Oh, it's changing by the moment. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to end the poll in 5 more moments. So please fill it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to end the poll right now. Okay. So far, Jeffrey, 75% say yes. I feel stuck in an area of my life, or maybe some areas. 0% said no. That's awesome because you're honest. And 25% said, I don't know. I may have gaps and blind spots that I don't see. What are your comments to this poll, Jeffrey? 75% said yes, 25% said, I don't know.
Well, welcome to the human race. And I'm glad that 75% of the people were able to say, yes, a common human condition, and that is I'm stuck in some area of my life. And for those of you that don't know, I'm even going to give you kind of higher kudos there, because knowing that you don't know is a huge step toward mastery. And so congratulations for being that honest and that aware. So, today I trust that something's going to come out that's really going to help people get unstuck in that area. And then you'll find another area you're stuck in. And that's cool because, again, that means we're alive and we're still living. So.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm going to do another poll. So I'm going to load another poll number 2. And let's see here. What is your next step? So I'm going to load that up. What is your next step to moving the needle forward? So I'm going to start that poll, and we're not going to take very long because I want to move into the interview, the meat of this episode, this show. So the question is, what is your next step to moving the needle forward to getting unstuck? Is it a top-notch mentor? Is it a clearer vision for your life, career, business, finances, relationships, family, etc.? Is it an accountability partner? Or is it healing from past wounds or hurts? Perhaps it's stronger character plus mental toughness. Example, more discipline and focus. Or is it more organization and better time management? Or is it some or all of the above? Okay, so I'm going to end the poll in 7 more moments. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the poll is ended. Jeffrey, what do you say about this? 57% said some or all of the above. Some or all need a top-notch mentor or clearer vision or an accountability partner, healing from past hurts or wounds, stronger character or mental toughness, or mental organization and better time management. And also only 14% said more organization and better time management. What are your comments, sir?
Well, I think that's an interesting result. And one of the things I would say about that is that all significant change happens in the presence of a mentor or a coach. And so that whole list that you have there, whether that coach is that accountability partner or if it's someone else, it's someone in your life that not only is going to hold you accountable, but it's back to the first poll of someone who can help you see what you don't see. Because most of us are inside the jar, right? From inside the jar. And
Seriously.
so that person in your other person in your life has the ability to see that and to share that with you and help you see what you don't see. And I think that's the key to everything that was on that poll. So congratulations.
Wow, wonderful. Well, then we're going to start the interview because I want to move into the interview portion because I love what I know to hear from Jeffrey. So I don't know Jeffrey's answers, but I'm so excited about what Jeffrey's going to share. So I'm going to share about how to ask world-class questions. Today, folks, you have the opportunity to sit at the feet, so to speak, of a world-class mentor. Jeffrey H. Watts is a world-class mentor. So ask world-class questions. Now, I got this topic from one of our coaches, Alex, and I know that Jeffrey and I we met through Alex. So he shared a little bit about this topic, but I'm going to expound much more. He only shared 2 things about it, and I'm going to share 7, okay? So how do you ask world-class questions? Because I want you to be prepared for the Q&A portion of this show. And number 1, discover more about the world-class mentor, because that way you can find out what is his topic of expertise. You can browse briefly through the website if that mentor has a website, which most, I hope that they do. If they're world-class, they 100% should have a website. So browse briefly the mentor and also the other assets. Maybe they have a YouTube video. Watch some of that and then find out their expertise. Okay. Number 2, here's another step. The next step is after you do the research, listen deeply. I know that I can develop more and more this skill of listening and not just waiting for the person I'm speaking with to stop talking, then I talk, right? So I'm developing more the skill of listening. So I would love for you to consider this today. Listen deeply. Number 3, take notes during the presentation. This is so important. If you don't have a laptop, or if you don't, if your laptop is, you're busy watching this on your laptop, perhaps grab a pen and a pad, or, something to write on, maybe some index cards, and take notes during the presentation. Number 4, identify 1 to 2 areas in your life related to the presentation. So you're listening to the interview, you're listening to the world-class mentor, and then you're trying to hone in. Okay, what 1 to 2 areas can I relate to during the presentation? Aha, it's my mental toughness, or perhaps it's my need for transformation. Okay, so think about what areas in your life need change, or you can relate to the presentation. So that was number 4. Number 5, skim through your notes after the presentation. So before you come into the Q&A, I would love for you to just skim through the presentation. And then number 6, write down your world-class question, because after you've been able to listen deeply, okay, you've done the research, you've listened deeply, you've taken down notes, and then you've skimmed through your notes before the Q&A portion. Now you can write down your world-class questions. And I say questions because maybe somebody else might ask the same question. So if you only write down 1 question, then you don't have anything else to work with. So write down maybe 2 or 3 questions, right? And then number 7, ask your questions or your question with confidence and honor. Honor meaning you're humble enough to receive. Honor meaning you respect the guest's time, you respect people's time, right? But you ask it with boldness and confidence because you did the work, you did the research, you listened, you took notes, and you were able to relate it to an area of your life. Then you can ask a question, or you can ask world-class questions, okay? So just a reminder, today we're having Jeffrey H. Watts in the house. Next week, we're having Len DiGiovanni. We're having, after Len, we're having Pete Gaffarcho, and then Greg Corhan. And Len he's a chair of, in other words, he coaches CEOs. And then Pete Cafarcho is the VP of Business Development for Data Motion, and he's also a personal coach, a motivational speaker, and a business coach. And then Greg Corhan is an award-winning filmmaker. He's also a best-selling author, director, producer, and he's also and the book that he authored was Don't Sell Me, Tell Me. So I'm giving you these now because that way you can prepare for these episodes. You can research, and then you can tune in live, and then notes, and then questions. Okay, awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to start the show now. So I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1, then we're going to start the show. But first, I want to make sure I load this video because that's going to be the introduction to the show that I'm going to. So there's going to be a bit of a gap. And by the way, let's see here. I don't have that. I'm going to just write down really quickly something on. I'm just going to write down something really quickly because during the show, I'm going to hold up this card, and then I don't want you to be shocked when I hold up this card and I'm just smiling, right? Because we're going to cut the interview and we're going to edit it, and then we're going to post it and broadcast it in another platform, in 2 other platforms. So I'm going to just write this down. So let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. Okay, there we go. So when I hold up this card during the interview and I just smile, don't be shocked. I haven't gone, your screen has not frozen. I'm just waiting so that our videographer can cut the ads into the show when it's all edited. Okay, so I'm going to just show the intro and I'm going to load it up. Okay, and then here we go. Welcome. I am Jackie Morey. I'm a multiple #1 international best-selling author and your web TV host of the 21st Century Legacy Letters Show. Welcome to today's episode, and I'm so excited about today because today my guest is Jeffrey H. Watts, who's known as the Catalyst. But before we move on, let's just hear a word from our sponsors. Let's thank our sponsors. Welcome back. Before I introduce Jeffrey to you, I would like to share with you the legacy word for today, which is the word transformation. What does transformation mean? Well, an online dictionary says that it is a thorough or dramatic change. It could also mean metamorphosis. It could also mean the process of changing in outward appearance, condition, or character. So that's the meaning of transformation. And I would love for you to experience transformation in your life. Let me share with you a quick story. There was a young gal, and in high school, she was a wallflower. She was very shy around guys because she had gone to a private all-girls Catholic grade. So when she got through middle school and when she went to high school, it was a co-ed high school. And in her freshman year, she was a wallflower. She was very shy, but then she started to come out of her shell and she started to blossom and to bloom. And by the time that she was in her senior year, she ran for one of the positions in the school, and she won in one of the positions. And so she experienced the word for today, which is transformation. And That young gal is me. I was a wallflower and I was in high school and I was very, very shy. But today, I don't believe in shyness because I have been transformed. I respect those who are still going through the process of getting over shyness, and I honor them and I love them as a human being, as a person. But I would love for them to experience transformation the way I did because it's possible. And so that's the word for today. And now I'd like to introduce my guest to you. Jeffrey H. Watts is also known as the Catalyst. He is a high octane executive mentor, a business accelerator, global entrepreneur, and a transformation author. Jeffrey Watts grew up in his family's jewelry business, yet he chose his own path to become a psychologist. During 10 years of private practice, Jeffrey found that focusing on a person's strengths, not their weaknesses or flaws, was the key to true rapid transformation. Inspired by this discovery, Jeffrey shifted his career to become an executive mentor and corporate advisor. 20 years later, hundreds of clients and companies have been revolutionized by Jeffrey's leadership. They call him the Catalyst. Today, Jeffrey is recognized, as I've said, as a high octane executive mentor, business accelerator, global entrepreneur, transformation author, child advocate, and family man. I'd like to welcome to this episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters, Jeffrey Watts. Hi, Jeffrey. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fantastic. So good to be with you, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming to be with us live today, Jeffrey. And for switching the times. I remember last week that you said, yes, it's okay for us to do this particular time. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Jeffrey, who would you like to dedicate this episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters show to?
Well, I am going to dedicate this show to my father, who just passed last year, and he was my friend and my mentor. And he was a really strong man, but very quiet. And I didn't realize how powerful he was until after he's passed, and now I miss him. So, Dad, I dedicate this to you.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Thank you. I love that, Jeffrey. You're honoring your dad, even though he's on the other side of glory. So thank you for sharing
Yes,
this, right?
he graduated.
Yes, he graduated indeed. Wow. Well, Jeffrey, take a minute, please, and fill in some of the gaps in that intro and share a glimpse into your personal life, please.
Okay. Well, I know that you had wanted to me to share a little bit about maybe a young adult story and something that was transformative. Since that's the word of the day, I'll use that. But
Okay.
when I was a teenager, I took my first international trip and went to Haiti and spent the summer working at Grace's Children's Hospital. And that experience absolutely transformed me because I was just a small town kid with no world and life view. And I went there and saw children who had been dropped off by their parents, and their parents never came back and picked them up because being in the hospital was better than the life they had at home. And they were bloated from malnutrition and they were hurting, but they had this bright smile on their face and life in their eyes because they were loved there. And they changed me way more than I ever changed any of them. I didn't speak the language, but I could love them and I could play with them and spend that time with them there and serve them. And that really was a turning point in my life because I realized it wasn't about me and it wasn't about what I have, but it was about being thankful for life. And so that's something that continues through today. My wife and I are very involved in a couple of different, organizations that serve kids, and that's our heart. And even to the point where next year we're doing a Prosperity with a Purpose trip, and we're taking executives with us to go and spend some time at an orphanage in Nicaragua, and we're excited about that because it's about changing lives for good.
Hmm, Jeffrey, that is so powerful because you are not just here to serve those in the people around the world who are executives, but you're also here to serve orphans and widows, and that to me speaks to my heart because I love doing that. In fact, I mean, we have served orphanages, especially in the Philippines where I grew up, and it's just amazing to see how how their lives can be impacted for the good when people go there and actually parent them and help them
Yes.
and to help them get transformed. So thank you for sharing that, Jeffrey. That's powerful.
Well, Jackie, it's we're blessed to be a blessing. And so for me, it's there's no difference whether I'm, helping a child or helping a leader or helping a, a kid in school or, family member. We're blessed to be a blessing. And so we share what we have. And if all of us continue to do that, we change the planet.
Indeed so. Indeed so. Well, Jeffrey, I know you are a father, you're a dad. So would you kindly share two parenting lessons with us and tell us one story maybe for each?
Okay. Um, well, my first myth, I guess, that I want to bust is the old quality versus quantity of time debate that people get into, and I'm telling you, it's neither. Uh, I think it's really about connection. And so I'm going to speak from the platform of being a father of three boys. Okay, so this may or may not work for girls, but I know it works for boys. And that is that, the key for any parent is to help a child discover what their innate talents and abilities and passions are. And when you find those out, then you engage them so that you're mentoring them, you're giving them opportunities to move forward in that realm. And their passion becomes my passion. I'm spending time with them doing those things because I want them to grow in that. I want them to get so connected with those God-given talents and abilities that from that as they move forward in life. And, I've done that in lots of different ways. My kids, we did everything from sports and motorcycles and shooting and, football and hiking and camping and whatever it was, it made a big difference. And, one of the things that I found that when my kids really got stuck doing something they were passionate about, allowed them to open up and let me in and let me help. So, I can remember one time when my middle son was a teenager, and he was shut down, he was struggling, he was making bad choices. And we slapped on a couple of backpacks and we hiked up to a lake. And I don't think we were even gone 24 hours, but we went up there, spent the night. And as we're walking along in silence, he just magically starts to talk. And we start to have heart-to-heart conversations. And one of the things that I've learned is that with boys especially, doing something physical and then allowing the mouth to start to share is really important. So that's my number one. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that.
Okay. And again, I don't know if it works with girls, but it probably will. Okay. And then the second thing I would share is, and this may be a little controversial, but I'd say make your kids do something they don't like and teach them to do it well, because they're going to learn gratitude and an appreciation for those people that do have to do those jobs later on in life. And an example of that was when my kids were actually in elementary school. Friends had to work or ever do anything around the house. Not only did they have chores at home, but I gave them a job and I hired them as my janitors, if you can imagine, in one of my businesses. And so they had to come in 3 times a week and they had to clean the toilets and mop the floor and vacuum the floors and dust. And these were little guys, but they learned how to work. And hey, if one of those jobs wasn't done well, they had to go back and redo it. So they learned doing things right the first time and not wasting that time. And the other thing that happened was I paid the minimum wage. And so they learned the value of $1. And then they learned how to budget. And there were a lot of lessons that were in that were kind of a package deal, right? And it was interesting because later they would be very, I'll say a little manipulative, trying to get me to pay for things they wanted because they'd worked hard for that money and they didn't want to let go of it and spend their own money. And so those are some really good life lessons that I see now. My 2 oldest boys are 21 and 23. So I see it very much in their lives now. And it came from some of those life working lessons that happened when they were young.
Mm, that you know what, Jeffrey, I really believe that it applies to girls as well. Well, here's what Jeffrey said. This is what my note. These are my notes. Discover your child's innate abilities, and then make these your passion too. I mean, like for example, right now, I mean, we have young kids, right? And Alyssa loves ballet, and our son Michael, he loves creativity. So he loves doing art and he loves organizing. He's very concrete, sequential. And somebody told me that he could possibly be an architect. But when I make it my passion, Jeffrey, right? Even starting now, where I'm giving him things that he likes to do, organizing. Like the other day, he organized part of my bookshelf. He organized our DVDs and everything, and then he just started talking to me. I mean, it's amazing about boys, right, Jeffrey? And
Well,
then,
and you had that experience that he's shuffling books around and just starts talking. And
yeah,
that's the key. That's the key. You have to do something with boys because sitting them down and looking at them face to face, they're not opening up.
exactly. It's so true. And then with our daughter, she loves to cuddle. One of her top love language is physical touch. So she'll say,
Mhm.
"Mommy, can I cuddle?" So we're gonna cuddle, and then when she's cuddling with me, then she starts telling me all these different things. So she's 4 years old. So I'm just investing time, like you're saying, in the things that they're wired for and the things that they love doing. And then we talk about ballet and all that stuff. So it's really amazing, Jeffrey, these lessons that you're sharing with us. I mean, I just see it now because you've brought them to light.
Well, I'm glad you have that experience, and you're a very attentive mom. So it doesn't surprise me that you already have learned these, but now you can maybe do them a little more on purpose instead of them just happening. So that's
Indeed, indeed. Now I can be more intentional, as you put it. So, Jeffrey, I love these stories that you're sharing, where your sons are starting. They've opened up to you, and you've found what they're passionate about. Then you're able to really connect with them. Well, I know that you're a high octane coach. So, would you kindly share with our audience maybe two or three business career stories that could help not only others who are just like you, but others who are on a different career path as well, please, Jeffrey?
okay. Well, one thing I want to just identify or define high octane, because that's my brand of mentoring is high octane. And when you think of putting fuel in your car, it's choosing that highest octane level because it's stronger, it's more powerful, it's more effective. And high octane takes you farther faster. And that's really the goal because I'm known for that speed and the power of the results. And so, that's really one of the things that I want to make sure that you understand is that this isn't about slow growth, and I think there's a lot of evidence now that change usually happens in a big leap. It doesn't happen as gradual as maybe we've been led to believe in the past. We tend to grow in spurts like this. It's not that slope, and so that's one of the reasons that I mentor that way. Well, I was thinking about what you being a world-class question asker. I'm getting a little intimidated by your questions, but no. Now that you've given us that, but I was thinking about what are a couple of life lessons that I could illustrate with a story, and the first one is the importance of constant, never-ending learning. Um, Years ago, I was contacted by Lululemon, and so any lady that does aerobics or yoga, about the $110 yoga pants. So, Lululemon was based in Vancouver, BC, and when they contacted me, one of the things they said was, in our culture, every one of our employees, all of our executives, everybody has to go through transformational workshops, and in order for you to work with our company, you have to do that too.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, at that point in my career, my ego was like, wait a minute, you have situations you need help with. I can help you with those, and yet you're telling me I get to go back to school and spend my time and my money for 2 weeks to go through these courses to do this. And they said, yes, if you're going to work here with us, you have to know this, you have to know our culture, you have to know our language. And after I kind of got over that, because I thought that was a little outrageous to ask that, I did it. And it was interesting because that demand from them taught me some really key life lessons, like learning that all there is now, and that stop making assumptions. And everybody has their own version of the story, and just don't take things personal. Some of those key lessons that maybe on some level I knew, but they really got embedded in me, and they've served me well all these years. And so here was a company that I was going to serve, and yet I ended up getting a lifetime of service because of something they asked of me. And you know, and I'm thankful for that. And actually, my contract with them was a little tiny contract. I never did anything big with them, but what they gave me has been invaluable.
Mm, that's amazing, Jeffrey. So constant and never ending learning is what you are sharing with us.
Absolutely,
And that is really powerful because folks, if we stop learning, we are still living, but we're dying. I think. What do you think
that's
about
right.
that, Jeffrey? Maybe that's too extreme.
I don't think so. I think that's exactly true. You know, that it's the old adage: if you know, you're either growing or dying, right? And
Right?
they say if you're green, you're growing. If you're ripe, you're rotting. Think about that with vegetables, right? And it's true. I mean, we want to stay on that growing cycle, and
Absolutely.
especially for those of us that whether we're parents or leaders, um, we don't really have an option but to keep growing so that we can continue to serve at higher levels and become more effective.
Wow. Well, Jeffrey, we're going to take a few moments here to thank our sponsors, and we'll be right back, folks, with Jeffrey's redemptive story and the legendary legacy section, as well as the legacy sprint. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, we are going to talk about redemption and the one experience that Jeffrey has, one redemptive story that Jeffrey has that he'd like to share with us. So, Jeffrey, would you take a few moments just to share one redemptive story, either in your personal or your professional life, please?
I will. I will. And I want to kind of jump back to the other section just briefly because um, these stories are connected. And so I want to give you the background on the story.
Yes, yes, please.
But, you know, being clear on who you are and being clear on your talents and abilities, just like we talked about with parenting with our kids, um, that is so central to success. And many years ago, I think I was probably 36, I was the chief operating officer of the largest insurance agency in North America. And it was a role of power and prestige and reward. And it was a great, great company. And I loved being there. And part of what I got to do there was mentor leaders and kind of identify and grow up that next level of leaders within the company. And one of the guys that I had worked with very closely was up in Canada, and he just continued to kind of get higher and higher positions in the company, became director of sales, and in fact at one point I was flying up to Victoria, BC on a seaplane from Seattle every week and mentoring and spending time strategizing and working with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because one day I walked into the executive suites and he was standing in my office, and he was a big, looked like East German, but he's Eastern European, big guy, big voice, big personality. And he says, "Jeffrey, I am now CEO of the company and I need your office." And I was shocked. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know he was getting promoted. And here was this guy that I had mentored for years and had worked with as he grew up through the company. And now he was my boss. And it was really tough on me. And my ego was bruised. I thought I should have known about it. In reality, it wasn't my place. The owner could do whatever he wanted, right? But I was hurt, and I didn't know how to handle it. I actually handled it very poorly. And I basically just went in the next Monday, resigned, no plans, nowhere to go, no fallback position. I
Mm.
just couldn't handle it. And so it was really devastating to me.
Yes.
And so it took me actually a few years to kind of work through all of that and get to a place where um, I was actually able to get back in touch with them and the owner, and as well as the CEO, and restore that relationship. And they actually invited me in, and I was really surprised because when I went to them with a contrite heart and saying, guys, I didn't handle this well, and I messed up, and I screwed up, and um, in retrospect, I wish I would have done something different, but I didn't. I didn't know how to at the time, and I'm sorry. And as an executive at that level, it wasn't easy for me to do. Um, but I went back, and actually, after that time of restoring and quite a few cups of coffee and a few bottles of wine and whatever else over dinner, I mean, we actually got to the point where I went back and worked with them again, which was something that I
Whoa.
had said I would never do in my bruised ego state, but was able to go back and restore those relationships. And you know it was an amazing time of redemption for me, and it came out of me finally getting to a place where I said relationship is more important than the story I made up about my hurt and my pain. and
Wow.
and so that was a real turning point, but a real redemptive story for me.
Oh my goodness. That is definitely a redemptive story. Jeffrey, I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm sure because at that level, and especially maybe perhaps men have certainly look at other men, and maybe I've heard about this, verify if it's true or not, that there's a certain ego and there's a certain esteem that comes with that position. And so it must have been really that much more difficult and challenging for you to do what you did, Jeffrey.
It wasn't easy, and man, I still feel what that felt like. But there's nothing like forgiveness and redemption, and experiencing grace and mercy in those sorts of scenarios. And it's about restoration and restoring those relationships. But in many ways it started with me restoring the relationship with my own self, and then being
Mm.
willing to engage and bring others in, because you know again, all significant change happens in relationship. And so, I can do certain things on my own, and whether I'm reading or taking a webinar or whatever the case is, that's good information, whatever. But true transformation happens in the context of a relationship. And I think that's true for redemption as well.
Oh my goodness. I completely agree with you, Jeffrey. It's definitely all about relationship, because without relationship, without either a mentor or, like you said a while ago, an accountability partner or a community, true transformation doesn't really happen. It might be surface. Maybe you can change maybe a behavior here and there. But if you want to change from the inside out, it happens in the presence of a mentor, a community, an accountability partner. And maybe, the mentor has all three of that for you. Right, Jeffrey?
I agree. I
Mm,
agree.
wow. Very good. Very good. Well, Jeffrey, we're coming up now to the legendary legacy section. Would you mind showing our audience, those who are watching the video and those who are listening to the audio, you may not see this, but Jeffrey has a picture of his children. Would you mind sharing with
Oh,
us a picture of your children, please, Jeffrey?
I got a couple of different ones here. So let's see if I can show you that one first.
Yes. Oh,
So
how
my,
wonderful.
my oldest son, Joshua, my middle son, Daniel, and my lovely wife.
Wow, that's
You can
fantastic.
tell we're in beautiful South Florida. We're located right. And then I got to go for the awe factor. Here's my youngest.
Oh, beautiful.
I love football, so notice the hat.
Yes, definitely.
That's
Wow.
Mateo.
What is your youngest's name?
Mateo.
Mateo?
Yes.
Wow.
Italian for Matthew.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. We have, I know some Mateos, since in the Philippines we have a lot of Spanish heritage, so I totally get that. Well,
Yeah.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for sharing your photos. Now, let's imagine this.
Okay.
Decades and decades and decades from today, you're on your deathbed and you have 5 more minutes with your children, your relatives, grandchildren, colleagues, friends gathered around your bed. What final words would you say to them and share, or advice that you would like to give to them about how to leave a legendary legacy?
Okay. Um, I would tell them, be who God created you to be, and don't worry about what anyone else says or pressures you to do. You be consistent with who God created you to be. I tell them to take risk, and feel, so you can feel alive, and get out there, and very few things will kill you. Just go out there and go for it. um, I tell them to invest time in relationships, because relationships are the only thing that are eternal. So invest your time there. And I'd remind them that money comes and goes. Okay, you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. So how you invest your time is really critical. And the last thing I would say is, boys, friends, I lived a great life. This is a life well lived. It's time for a party. So quit standing around here and get the party started. So that's it.
Oh my goodness. At the
Because
very
it's not a
end,
time to be sad.
say that again, please.
It's not a time to be sad.
Wow.
I know that people are going to miss me, but the reality is that, I intend on leaving it all on the field. I'll give all that I can give. And when my time comes,
Wow, that's just so powerful, Jeffrey. I mean, you're thinking about them celebrating, and that's quite a mind shift, for people to do that because they're gonna not have you in a few minutes, and then but you're giving them such wisdom. Take risks, be willing to take risks, and be all that God created you to be. Those are powerful and key life lessons right there, Jeffrey. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Wow. Well, Jeffrey, we are now to the legacy sprint where I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions and you have 15 seconds or less to answer them. Are you ready, sir?
I think so. Let's go.
Awesome. Jeffrey, what is one reason people fail getting close to their kids as they grow up?
I think it's right back to what we talked about earlier, is that they're not connected and being a part of their world. And so as they shift and they grow and morph, through the years, you got to stay connected. And if you do that, there's no problem.
Excellent. What is one action that you take daily that brings you to your present business goals?
Okay. Two things. Number one, stay hydrated. So I drink a liter of water when I wake up and stay super hydrated all during the day. And then the other thing is to take my gratitude journal and I lay out the courageous actions that I want to have for that day at the beginning of the day. And so that's how I get it started.
Powerful. What are your top 3 favorite books, Jeffrey?
It may sound funny, but I really like the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And that, when I was thinking about that, I'm not sure I know the other ones. I got a couple that are on my bedstand right now. The DNA of Success by Zumfeld is one that I'm reading, and then the other one is Pain, Perplexity, and Promotion, which is a study on Job, the life of Job. And so those are books I'm in the middle of, but I don't necessarily have a lot of favorite books. I learn from a lot of different people from a lot of different genres.
Yes, definitely. I know I have so many books, and I'm like you. I read a lot of books at the same time. Some people don't like to do that, but I do. Well, Jeffrey, what is your favorite dish? I know you probably have a dozen of them, but what is your favorite dish?
Oh, it's got to be between Thai and Peruvian. I don't know. It's a toss-up. Ceviche or Tom Yum Goong, Pad Thai. I don't know.
Very cool. And what's your favorite vacation spot, sir?
Oh, Santorini, Greece,
Oh,
by far.
I've
Santorini's great.
s- oh, I've seen pictures. Oh my goodness, I would love to visit there one day.
Pictures don't do it justice. It's spectacular.
Yes, I believe it. 3 favorite hobbies, please.
I love horses. I love all shooting sports and motorcycles, but probably my biggest thing is the Seattle Seahawks because they're my team and I love football. So
Come on, let exactly. Totally, right? I'm so glad
yeah.
that even though you're not in Seattle, you still love the Seahawks. Awesome.
Well, I lived in Seattle a long time, so
I
uh,
do know that.
Seahawks are in my blood.
Wow, well, fantastic. And what is one favorite quote? I know you have a lot, but can you share a favorite quote, please?
Hmm. Well, one would be an old Chinese proverb that says the direction of a rolling stone is easily changed. And I'm always reminded of that when I feel myself slowing down, that it's way too hard to get yourself going again. It's much better just to keep that momentum and to keep moving. And so that's my reminder all the time, to keep moving. Whether it's forward, sideways, whatever, the key is to keep moving and not stagnate. And so that's one of my favorite quotes.
That's fantastic. Wow. Thank you, Jeffrey. Well, now it's time to promote you. Jeffrey, what would you like to promote to the folks who are listening and or watching this episode, please?
Well, I'm excited. I'm glad we were able to give such great gifts on this show. And so, your epic promotions have been great. But, I love high performance. I love seeing the change that happens in people's lives when they take themselves on in a bigger way. And so I'm all about improving leadership and getting the clarity around that and impacting businesses as a business accelerator. So one of the things I wanted to offer specifically for your tribe is a free consultation with me. They can email the email that's right there below my name on the screen. And I would love to set up a time where we could have a conversation and find out, how I might be able to help you. But one thing I can guarantee during that call is you're going to gain more clarity and you're going to have a sense of what you can do to start moving the needle for your life and for your business. And so that is something I'm offering exclusively to you and your tribe. And so if people are interested in contacting me, send an email and my assistant will get an appointment set up for you.
Amazing. And folks, Jeffrey's email address, for those who are on the audio listening, it's info@revnow.com. That's info, info at rev, R-E-V, now, NOW.com. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. I'm so excited about you offering the discovery session with folks. And I'm going to sign up for a discovery session with you. So
I'm
I'm,
excited. I can't
thank you.
wait.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters Show. And I'd like to leave with you the legacy quote for today. This is by Robin Sharma. Change is hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, gorgeous at the end. Again, change is hard at the beginning, messy in the middle, gorgeous at the end. That's by Robin Sharma. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in and watching or listening to this episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letter Show. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, live a life of significance and leave your legendary legacy. All right. Well, Jeffrey, how do you think we did today, sir?
I think we rocked it. How do you? How do you feel?
I love it. I so enjoyed just interacting with you and connecting with you live. So this is, to me, I just love doing this because, as you said, relationships, and I just really completely like relating, and I love connecting with you, Jeffrey. So thank you, thank you, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well, it's fun. It's fun to have this medium because it does allow us to connect on a different level. And
Right, totally, right? Exactly. Well, I just want to read some of the comments, Jeffrey. Let's see here. Let's see. Dr. Becky said, most grateful to hear your heart thoughts. And Dr. Jessica said, I'm so sorry for your loss, Jeffrey. That's when you shared with us about your dad.
Mhm.
And then also, let's see here. Dr. Becky says, I believe it applies to girls as well. So the parenting lessons you shared applies to girls as well. I think it is more of a temperament thing. And then Barbara says, high octane is good. Joanne says it applies to seniors who are dealing with dementia. Wow, awesome. See, it's applicable to so many people. And then Barbara says being curious is a gift. Awesome. And then Steve says, if we stop learning, we're dying. Brilliant, Jackie. Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate you. And then Tanisha says restoration is key. Oh, that was a powerful redemption story and restoration story, Jeffrey. So thank you so much for opening that up to us and being so authentic and honest. Dr. Becky says, Jeffrey, your integrity was rising up, the essence of your character. God bless you. Joanne says, I think we learn, but then must experience it or walk it out with someone. Exactly, Joanne, right? Because Jeffrey's all about mentoring and being accountable to a mentor. So totally. And then let's see here. What else? Everybody says, thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. And thank you so much for tuning in, folks. Now we're going to do the bonus section for those of you who've stayed with us live. I'm going to pop up the bonus. The first bonus is an amazing 2-page from Jeffrey. It's a what I call a cool needle moving bonus. So I'm going to load that up, and here we go. And it's going to be available for about 48 hours for now. We might pop it up again sometime soon on our webpage. But please click on the Give Me Instant Access orange button right now and say, yes, I want to activate my success DNA. And I want to discover Jeffrey's reveal formula. If you tuned in last week, Jeffrey enticed us with a reveal formula. So it's the acronym of the word reveal, Reveal. So please get that now. I would love for you to have access to that. All right. And let's see here. Mary says, thank you for your redemption story, Jeffrey. And Tanisha says, Jeffrey, can you share your favorite power booster with us?
Oh, I can. I have lots of favorites, but I will tell you that um, probably two favorite power boosters. One is Qigong, and the other one is breathing, because I think that's one of the things that most of us lose sight of, especially if we're sitting at a desk or working after a period of time. You've got to breathe deep. You've got to oxygenate, and you have to hydrate. And so those all are huge power boosters in our lives.
Wow, excellent, excellent. Wonderful. Well, I want to also offer this year. I think there was one more. I'm going to pause this offer first because I hope that you've downloaded the the cool bonus from Jeffrey. So if you have, please share with us. Just type in the number one. Just say yes, number one. I got it, and that way I can end the bonus and then move on to the next one. Okay. I think Joanne got it, and Steve said thank you for your time and wisdom. Awesome. Great. So
Thanks.
I'm gonna give a few more moments, and then in the meantime, I want to share the next bonus is being part of the 21st Century Legacy Letters Facebook community. And part of it is because we're going to be doing a book club, one book per month. And then we're also going to do vision boarding, and you'll get Facebook accountability. And we're going to do a Facebook challenge every week. Jeffrey likes to do it every day, which I love that, right? So right now, right, Jeffrey, you want to do
At least during the week. I take the
yes.
weekend off.
Oh yeah, weekends off. Awesome, great. Here is the Pay It Forward challenge for this week, and I would love for you to do this, and then next week let me know how you did. So pay it forward, either write, email, or text message someone you haven't connected with in a while, and simply encourage or affirm them. And I did this today, and it just energized me. I did it to 3 friends I hadn't connected with in a while, and they immediately messaged me back. So after this show, I'm going to read their text messages because I invited them to connect over coffee and their email, or even if they don't live in your city or your state, just email somebody you haven't connected with. If you just do one this week, that's the Pay It Forward challenge for this week. All right, I'm going to remove the bonus right now, and I would love to have you join the Facebook community. So as I've said, and as I always say, I am very aware of trolls on the internet. There have been trolls on some of the communities that I have belonged to. So I definitely don't invite everyone, and I don't offer this every single day. So please join the 21st Century Legacy Letters Facebook group. And if you want to move the needle forward to leaving your legendary legacy, if you want to belong to a legacy community, just click the orange button that says, yes, I want to join now. And see, we're already doing the Pay It Forward challenge for the week. And I would love for you to join. So just click the orange button and I'll approve, because it's a closed group. I'll approve your request after. Awesome. Well, Jeffrey, oh my, okay, everybody's gotten it. So Tanisha said yes. Dr. Becky said number one, yes. Joanne, yes. Okay, they all got it. Awesome. So now, please, those of you who are not part of the Facebook community, please click that button right now that says, yes, big contest. All right. So if you have friends that are not yet here live with us on this episode, please invite them. I'm going to give you a few more moments as I bring up Jeffrey's web page here, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to show Jeffrey. I'm going to share your website if you don't mind. Let's see here, right there. I'm going to do that. Okay. So now we have Jeffrey's website right there. It says you reach elite levels of success. Let me make it a little bit bigger here that way. Okay. And then you can just click around and you can find Jeffrey's website by typing in www.jeffreyhwatts.com. There you go. Let me make this bigger so that you can know how to spell that. jeffreyhwatts.com. And then you can just click through and find out more about Jeffrey and what he does and what Jeffrey does. And as Jeffrey said, he's offering a discovery session with you. So please, and his email address is info@revnow.com. And let me type that in the chat room. That way everybody knows that. info@revnow.com. So email Jeffrey at this email address and make sure you take advantage of this incredible offer, folks. I mean, seriously, being in the presence of a high octane mentor, and that's who Jeffrey is. He's a high octane mentor, and he's the catalyst, is going to revolutionize your life. And I really believe you're going to experience the legacy word for today, which is transformation. All right. So please do that right away. Jeffrey, do you have let me stop sharing the screen first. Jeffrey, do you have a few words to share about what they should how they should prepare for this discovery session with you, sir?
Well, you know what? When they request that session and we set it up, I'll actually send out a video and a letter to them on how to prepare, because I want to make sure that that time is the most useful and the most effective that it can be for both of us. And so I'll send those to the people that are interested. And I appreciate your kind words, but you know, we're just all fellow travelers on this path, and we need someone to walk along with us. We don't need to be traveling alone, and that's what mentoring is about. That's what it's taking your leadership, taking yourself to the next level, and making an impact on your company, on your family, on your relationships, and I think that's something that is incumbent upon each one of us as leaders to make sure that we're doing that we're taking ourselves on at that level. And that's what this is about, and that's why I'm happy to make that offer to your tribe.
Fabulous. Okay. Well, now I'm going to share with you the prizes right now. Okay, so for the first prize, you're going to get 2 tickets to Brendan Burchard's High Performance Academy, plus 2 physical copies of the book Life's Golden Ticket, plus 1 30-minute strategy session with me regarding writing your book. Second prize is 2 tickets to the High Performance Academy, plus 1 physical book of Life's Golden Ticket. Third prize is my Turbocharge Your Bestseller online course, lifetime access to that, plus 1 of the books, one physical copy of Life's Golden Ticket, and fourth prize is 1 physical copy of the book. So Jeffrey, do you mind showing us those prizes, please? There's the Life Golden Ticket. There you go. Awesome.
Yeah. And it actually has the golden ticket in an envelope in the back.
Oh
I'm
my.
not going to tell you what the ticket is.
Aha, it's a surprise. And then could you show us the brochure of the High Performance? Oh, there it is, High Performance Academy. And for those of you who have tuned in a little bit late, Jeffrey, do you mind sharing with us what happened to you when you attended High Performance Academy for the very first time, please, sir?
Oh, it was amazing. And by the way, I want to add that it's coming up in September, and then it's also coming up again in April. So if you can't make September, the tickets are also good for April.
Really?
Okay. Yes.
Wow.
So it's good for either time. But you know, one of the things that Brendan is just a master from the platform, and if you've watched any of Brendan's stuff, you know he's high energy anyway and a little geeky, and a lot of singing, and I'm not singing but dancing on the stage. But he really helps you with mastery of your mind, really looking at your energy and how do you elevate your energy and maintain that level of energy so that you can stay more fully engaged in what you're up to in life. And then, you know, he really looks at, once you get that for yourself, how you use that energy, focus, attention to then be more influential in the lives of the people around you, whether that's business. So it's very transformational. It's 4 power pack days. And like I said earlier, the tickets are $1,000 each. And that first prize winner is getting 2 of those. So that's a great prize.
My
I
goodness,
love it.
definitely, definitely. And if I would love one of those tickets, and I'd love one for my husband, but you know, we can't make it to this September. So, I mean, I'm glad that you said that it's available for the one did you say January or February?
April.
Oh, April. Oh, good.
Yeah.
That gives us time. April. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So, folks, we're now to the epic contest. So, those of you who have invited folks here, please type in your name that you have invited folks, and then we'll call out your name one by one, and then those who are invited by you, they can respond and say, okay, who was invited by this person, and then we can count how many people are with you live, and then we will give you the prize. So, who has invited? Please type your name in that and just say, yes, I invited some of my friends, or I invited friends. That way I can read out your name live. All right. So while we're waiting, Jeffrey, Joanne is saying, wonderful offer, Jeffrey. Dr. Becky is saying, Jeffrey, thank you so much for this offer. Dr. Jessica says, thank you, Jeffrey, for the offer. Tanisha says, thank you for this offer, Jeffrey. So while we're waiting for them to type in, because I think there's like a 1 minute delay, Tanisha said, okay, Tanisha said, are any of my Facebook friends here? Mary S. says she invited some Facebook friends. So,
Awesome.
okay, right. So if you're here with us live, if you were invited into this webcast, this live episode by Tanisha, type in, I was invited by Tanisha. If you were invited by Mary, type in, I was invited by Mary. Steve, good. Steve Garvin is here. Thank you, Steve, for being in the house. Steve, are anybody from Steve's tribe here with us live? And Joanne said she sent a Facebook invitation. Wow, this is going to be so good because it's highly interactive. While we're waiting for folks to say, yes, I'm with Tanisha, or yes, I'm with Steve, or yes, I'm with Mary, or yes, I'm with Joanne, or yes, I'm with Dr. Becky. Jeffrey, can you share with us your the three verbs: connect, create, and catalyze? Can you share a little bit about that, please, sir?
Well, a lot of us, when we're marketing our businesses, we're always looking for those little pithy phrases and whatever that really, connotes who we are and what we're all about. And as we've talked about today, my first one, connect, is exactly that. I think it's connecting to your skills and talents and abilities that are innate in you. I call it your DNA because it's your divine natural ability. DNA, right? And so you have to connect with that and be in that space. It's connecting with where you are and who you are, and it's starting to connect with those people around you and those relationships that you have. And so connect is crucial. And before, the only thing that matters in life is relationship, and so connect is a big part of that. Create. I believe that we all have been given the ability to create, and creation is life when you think about it, right? And as we talked about earlier about dying or growing or whatever the case is, we're talking about creating and going to the next level. Getting out of the norm, the status quo, challenging yourself to do something you've never done before, to create new options, maybe even just to create a space to ask new questions and ask better questions, because the quality of our life is often related to the quality of our questions. And so creating space for that so that you can have that insight, that experience, that transformation that allows you to go to the next level. And then in my world, being a high performer, working with high performers, and a lot of people that own businesses, want to grow their businesses, it's about catalyze. How do you multiply the effort and the influence that you have? And there's lots of ways to do that. A lot of them people will learn at High Performance Academy, but there's many others of how do you catalyze your growth, your knowledge, your business, your product, your service, and take it to a whole new level. And it's about multiplication. So often we can get into a rut where we're hoping for incremental growth, and it's what I call addition. It's 1 + 1 + 1, and I'm not about addition. That's not who I am. High octane is about revving this engine up and really seeing the needle shift. And so that's what Catalyze is all about. And I believe that happens with mentors, with confidants, with sages, with pastors, with best friends, with spouses. I mean, there's a lot of those different relationships that are there. But if you really avail yourself of those relationships, it can catalyze and shift you into a whole new stratosphere. And that's what I believe is necessary with all the craziness we see going on in our world. If we're going to be part of the solution, we can't just have little incremental changes. We need a major shift. And I think everybody in your tribe, we're those people that can make a difference.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Well, I don't see anyone here that is with some of the folks here, but I know that many people tune in to the replay. So here's what we're going to do. For those of your friends who tune into the replay, let's see here, ask them to just, post a Facebook, maybe a question. Uh, did you watch the replay? And then just email me and let me know, because I can check through Webinar Jam if they did register and watch the replay. So just email me. I'm going to write down my email address. It's customer strategy academy at gmail.com. I'm writing it down right now. I'm going to type it into the chat room as well. So customer strategy academy at gmail.com, because I know a lot of folks are at work right now. So I respect that. So if they attended, just let them know. Just let them know that you're wanting to know if they did, and then I can just double check that, and we'll give you the prizes. So we're gonna announce the winners next week, if that's okay with you all, because I want to move in. Is that okay with you, Jeffrey? Is that okay if I tell you?
I think
Okay.
that's awesome. And Jackie, I said it last week and I'm going to say it again. The work you're doing and getting these legacy talks, if you will, online and in perpetuity, it's so critical. And, I think it's incumbent on all of us to invite friends and family, because this is life-changing material. And so, anything we can do to incentivize that and have people to share, another option, another possibility, it's important. So I'll be excited to hear who wins next week.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And I'm just going to type into the chat room right now my email address for everyone, customer strategy academy at gmail.com. And then I'm going to, let's see here, I'm going to invite people in live to ask Jeffrey your world-class question. So please type in the number 7 if you want to come in live, and be ready to just answer Google's questions like, do you agree to the terms and conditions? Just say yes, because it just delays everybody. So Jeffrey, are you okay with that? Having them come in live and meet you, maybe virtually, in person? Is that okay? Because you have to connect. Awesome. Okay. So everyone, please just type in the number 7. That way I know that you want to come in live, and I'm going to click the button that says invite you in. So just make sure that your camera is on you, your microphone is on, and then you can ask your world-class question of Jeffrey Watts. In the meantime, I'm going to ask Jeffrey some questions, because I prepared some questions for Jeffrey. If I'm going to...
I knew this was coming.
What did you say, Jeffrey?
I knew this was coming.
So Jeffrey, my first question is, let's see here. Can you share with us one high performance strategy? If you want to share more than one, that's totally fine. Can you share at least one that you haven't already shared on the broadcast?
Okay. I think one of the keys to high performance is blocking out times of your day so that you are most effective. And what I mean by that is that all of us know ourselves, and what are those times of day that we have the most energy, the most focus, we feel like we get more done in that hour or two than we do the rest of the day, and so some people may say it's, oh, I'm an early bird, or I'm a night owl, whatever that is. But I think one of the biggest things for high performance is making sure that you block out those hours. It may be 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours of your day, and making sure that nothing else happens there. So you don't have any meetings, you don't have any conference calls, you're not playing Pokemon Go, you're not on Facebook, you don't go to the doctor, nothing. That with your life, and then you do your most productive work during that time, and that time is allocated for whatever your highest contribution is, whatever you're gifted to do. That's the time that you do it. And so if you just did that one thing, I think most people will find that they'll get a 30% increase in their productivity, just because they're getting the most important things done in that time slot. And then all the other things that are critical, or fires that have to be put out, all that other mess, it can just shift. None of that gets done in that time period.
Wow, that is definitely a high performance strategy, Jeffrey. And I definitely need to get better and better at that. I mean, I am not quite there yet, but I know that I can always make improvements. So That's maybe what we'll talk about in our strategy session, discovery session. Okay, since I've invited some people in, Tanisha wants to come in. Let's see here. How do you uniquely position yourself, i.e., your USP, from other business coaches out there, Jeffrey?
Okay. Well, we referred to that earlier, and it's about being high octane, and it's going farther faster because it's about speed and it's about power. And so my goal is not to be in this long, drawn out process. Let's get together, let's hit it hard, let's hit it fast, let's move the needle and get results. One of the things that I expect is that all of my clients within the first 60 days have already earned more than they've paid me, with the improvements, with the increases in their business, and then it just goes up from there. Now, it doesn't mean I won't work with people long term, but the reality is I work with people in 12-week segments, and so you're focused, you're working on it, you're getting things done, and that 12 weeks is a big deal. Let's take 13th week off because there's 13 weeks in every quarter. So you take the 13th week off to kind of maybe plan, regroup, go on vacation if you want to. Then you can go in and hit the next 12 weeks, right? So that's a big distinction. Well, hi, Tanisha.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Tanisha. It's so good to be with you. Okay, Tanisha, I'm going to put you on the big screen. Do you have your world-class question ready for Jeffrey, Tanisha?
Yes, I believe I do, Jackie. Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you for sharing your great content. My question is, you mentioned on your website that one of your legacy that you want to leave your kids is faith, love, and service. How are you going to do that? You want to leave faith, love, and service as a legacy to your kids?
Correct. Well, raising them up in an environment of faith and having them, it's to quote scripture, you raise them up in the way, and when they grow older, they'll not depart from it. I mean, the reality is they understand that they're not here by accident. And my belief, it's not a big bang that somehow they magically were here. They were created for a unique purpose, for a very special time, and this time is their time. And I want them to be connected with their, talent, skills, and abilities so that they're making the difference that I believe they were intended to make when they were born. And so that encompasses faith, that encompasses service, and that's their legacy. If I want to put it in the context of the show, they're living a legacy by serving in the best way that they know possible. So it's how we raise. It's about conversation. It's about how problems are solved, how are conflicts resolved. All of those things I think are part of that learning that allows them to leave that kind of legacy.
Okay.
Does that sufficiently answer that?
Yes, good answer. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thanks for typing that in the chat so I knew exactly what to say. No, I'm teasing, but no, thank you, Tanisha. That's great.
Awesome. Well, I've invited Mary into the room to ask her question live, and thank you for being with us, Dr. Jessica, and thank you for your wonderful, encouraging comments. Dr. Jessica said, I have to run awesome broadcast. Thank you. And Dr. Becky says she has an appointment, so she needs to leave. Thank you for the inspirational show. Thank you, Dr. Becky, for being with us live. Thank you so much. Now, here is Mary. Mary, how are you doing, Mary? And are you ready for your world-class question for Jeffrey?
Yeah. Wait.
Good. Cool. Okay. So are you still pushing some buttons there?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't muted.
All right. You're not muted, so I'm going to mute myself. And Tanisha, I'm going to just mute you, Tanisha, for just a moment, okay? Go ahead, Mary.
Okay. Hello, Jeffrey. Thank you very much for your presentation with Jackie today. It was very awesome. And I wanted you, if you could, to explain when you wrote in your gratitude journal your courageous actions to take for the day. I just wanted you to elaborate on that because I think most of us think of our gratitude journal as things we're thankful for that day, and not so much as things we're planning for that day. So if you could elaborate a little bit on that, that would be very helpful.
Okay, Mary. It's both for me, because it's important for me to go back and remember the blessings and what is it that happened in relationships, or maybe just surprises, today that just came out of the blue, and I want to make sure I'm experiencing and expressing that gratitude. But part of it, what I found is that when I plan courageous actions and then I get to the end of my day, I'm now grateful that I took those steps that were hard, that were a stretch for me, that, it wasn't just something that came from the outside, but it's something that came through me. And so I found that to be really powerful and life-changing for me. And it's self-affirming. It's to really get in touch with the fact that I was created for greatness. You, Mary, were created for greatness. And so what did you do today to express that greatness? And, I think the default mode for most of us is to shy away from some of those things, or we think about them, but we don't necessarily act on them. But when we write them down and we set an intention that I'm going to push myself a little bit, then, that's what happens. And so does that help a little bit?
You can unmute yourself, Mary. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really awesome idea, Jeffrey. Thank you. That I think also maybe helps into the planning what we want to do each day, and can truly, as you said, become things of gratitude later that day, so or in the morning. So thank you. That helped a lot.
Well, you're welcome, Mary. And so can I just ask you, what is it that you do with your gratitude journal? Obviously you're thankful. What do you do with it after that?
Yeah, mostly my gratitude journal is just, as I said, you write down things you're thankful for that day or from the week, but I never thought of doing my gratitude journal as a preparation or a next step journal, perhaps, to like, okay, there's something else I can be grateful for today, like I have an upcoming speaking engagement on August 24th, so maybe for that day I should write in my gratitude journal that, because it's going to be courageous action, is going to be to do this speaking engagement, and we'll see what comes from that, what God does with it. So, yeah, I really appreciate that suggestion. I thought that was great.
That's awesome. Well, wow. Mary, I would just challenge you to just start with one thing.
Okay.
Just make a declaration in the morning that, look, let me give you something little, okay? Maybe it's, as I'm walking around today, I'm going to pick up one piece of trash. Let's start out easy, okay? Any of us can do that. But you're starting to take action, and then they can become more and more courageous as you move along, okay?
Jeffrey, do you mind sharing maybe one or two that you've written? That way it's something that we can capture the thought about. Just one or two maybe courageous acts in your gratitude journal, please, sir.
I will tell you that a lot of times my courageous actions that I set an intention for, they are directly related to the things I don't want to do. Okay? So if I tell myself I can't, or I won't, or I don't want to, then there's another little voice in my head that turns on and says, if you don't want to, then you must. And so oftentimes if there's someone that maybe I've offended and I need to make amends, then I say before the day is over, I have to reach out and make a connection. Now, it doesn't always work because maybe they don't respond or I'm not able to get through, but my role is before the end of the day, I cannot go to sleep until I've taken that action. Does that make sense? And so that's a commitment I made to make to myself when I set a courageous intention for a courageous action, is that it's impossible. I cannot go to sleep because that's breaking my word to myself, and that's not allowed. Okay, we have to keep our word, and so that it's that often, and then sometimes it can be something that is just like Mary's, where she's saying, hey, I'm getting ready to do this speaking engagement. It's a bit of a stretch for me. Those kind of stretches, absolutely, are for me. And so I'm in the middle of creating a video series. I'm writing another book. I'm doing some other things, and those are stretches for me. And I'm excited about them, but I'm also a little apprehensive. I'm also, there's a little fear and doubt and other things that are just common that come in for me. And so I just step by step come up with little ways to attack that. And so it's the old joke about how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. And
That's
so,
right.
I'm just taking those little bites and chipping away at the elephant.
Cool. So how would you phrase, let's say, for example, Mary's example, she has a speaking engagement. How would you phrase that in your journal, Jeffrey?
Well, from my perspective, I would say Mary already has accomplished that courageous action, because I would have set the intention to set up a speaking engagement and get booked for a speaking engagement. And you already did that, Mary. You already did it. That's exciting. And so the tough part's done. Now you just have to show up,
That's
right?
true.
Now you just get to go show up and be you, and share your heart. And so I think, I'm just going to applaud you right now. You were doing this before you even learned about it.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. And is there like a particular tense that you use, Jeffrey? Like, is it a present, future? I'm not an English, teacher, but how do you phrase it in your journal so that it's something that's grateful and it's courageous at
Yeah.
the same time?
So again, when I'm writing about what I'm grateful about, that's kind of a separate section in my journal. When I'm making a declaration, I'm saying, I will do X by the end of today.
Oh,
I
I
will
got it.
call X by the end of today. There's an action that I've declared, and I made a commitment to myself that I don't go to sleep without doing
I
it. Doesn't
got
make it
it.
done at 11 at night. There's been a couple times that, I can be in bed and it's like, I got to send that text, so I'm pulling out the phone and taking care of it. But it's fun because, there's something that happens in the soul of a person when they realize that they can trust themselves. And when they tell themselves something, they actually do it. Because most of us lie to ourselves and let ourselves down, right? And it would actually change it. Something shifts in your soul when all of a sudden you realize, I am a person of my word. I have integrity. When I say something, I mean it. I embody truth. Those are great things to start saying about yourself, and they're much nicer than some of the other things that we can say.
That's so true. Wow, awesome. Mary, did that answer your question, Mary?
Yes, that was really good, and I have to tell Jeffrey that it was by the grace of God that I got the speaking engagement, and I give Him the glory for it, of course, and that's why we're looking forward to seeing what comes of that. So that's part of my plan for that day, is to see how the Lord works that day through that engagement. So thank you very much.
Oh, that's exciting! I'm excited for you, Mary, and I hope maybe if I don't hear from you, I'll hear through Jackie. I want to hear how it goes, because
Yeah.
go ahead and set that intention for that day.
Yeah, definitely. Mary, if you don't mind posting that also in the 21st Century Legacy Letters Facebook group, that way, because I think, Jeffrey, you're part of that group, so at least we can
I am.
acknowledge what you did that day and how you did that day, and we just want to, affirm you and encourage you in that. What do you think about that, Mary?
Thank you. That sounds like an excellent idea. And that gives me my accountability, my coach. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. Awesome.
Yay, awesome. Great.
All
Thank
righty.
you.
Wow. Well, this has been wonderful, Jeffrey. I want to respect your time. Go ahead, sir.
So, Jackie, can we go back to Tanisha real quick?
Let's do that. Let's do that. Go ahead.
Tanisha looks like she has another question.
Yeah, Tanisha. Tanisha, do you know how to unmute yourself, Tanisha? Just scroll, put your mouse, and then scroll to the top, and then there's a microphone. It's a second icon from the top left there, and then it's a. Do you find it? Because only you can unmute yourself. Okay, that's fine.
Phone, dude. Hello?
There you go. You got
Hi.
it. You got
Okay,
it.
yeah, iPad. I just got this iPad. I'm trying to maneuver. Jeffrey, I do have another question. You mentioned as a psychologist, you were a former psychologist?
10
that
years.
you examine the strengths of your clients and you focus on that. So you carry that into the world of business. I'm a teacher of 20 years.
Hmm.
I'm thinking about leaving. Well, I'm going to be leaving my day job, and I'm making plans for that. As a teacher of 20 years, I believe my strengths are similar to yours, where I always focus on the strengths of the kids,
Hmm.
and I have a plan by the end of the year. This is where they should be, and I have building steps for that. Would you make any recommendations on how I can use what I have as a teacher in the world of coaching, mentoring, and things like that?
Absolutely. And number one, I mean, as a teacher, you do the most important job that's out there right next to parents, and I thank you for doing that. And to have a teacher that's not just doing it, but actually has a plan for the life of those kids, I mean, that's huge. Coming out of the world of psychology, it's like a medical model where you don't go to the doctor for him to tell you what's right with you. You go because something's wrong, right? And again, I don't know exactly what realm you want to play in. As
Oh,
you as
well,
you
I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book right now. It's out spring 2017. So I'm learning how to build products and services around the book in the
Mhm.
realm of coaching, mentoring, speaking, things of that nature.
Okay.
Um, yeah, my VPS is to build self-esteem so people will know their identity in Christ, will live their destiny. A lot of times we get stuck in the past.
Hmm.
So I'm really focused on how do we leave the things of the past in the past and to move towards the freedom of the future.
Yes. Well, when we're forgiven, we become new creatures, right?
Yeah, amen.
So, and somehow we tend to hold on to something that doesn't belong to us anymore. And so that's a great work that you're up to. Um, I don't know if other experts would agree with this, but you asked me, so I'll tell you from my perspective. I think it's important that you really work on your message and
Okay.
don't worry so much about the product and the course. And
Yeah.
yes, work on your book and start getting that out, because working on a book helps you with your message. But sometimes we can get so tactical. And so, you're learning Infusionsoft or Kajabi, and you're learning about emails
Yeah.
and responders and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. And here's the thing: if that's your strength, cool.
Okay.
But for most of us, that's not necessarily our core aptitude, right? And so my belief is that you get crystal clear on what part you're supposed to be doing, and then that's your strength.
Okay.
And then when you look at these other areas and you go, that's not in my wheelhouse, that's kind of a weakness for me, you outsource that.
Okay.
Okay? Because, and you know this from being a teacher, I believe, is that there's only so far you can take the weakest area in a kid and improve it.
Yeah, that's true.
The greatest impact comes in taking their strengths
Mm.
and turbocharging that. See, that's catalyzing for me. That's that part of my slogan. And it's just so important that you live in your area of giftedness,
Okay.
because that's where you're going to make the maximum impact. That's what you were born to do. And when you're doing what you're born to do, the rest of the stuff doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
Best wishes. I think that's awesome that you're doing that. And congratulations, because we're talking about courage. Congratulations on having the courage to take that step. That's
Thank
not easy.
No,
And especially as a 20-year vet of teaching, that's a big shift for you. And I I honor that. I acknowledge that. I think that's awesome.
thank you. Appreciate that.
I knew you had
Awesome.
another question.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Jeffrey, and I want to respect your time. So, since it's 30 minutes past our 1 hour, I just want to say thank you very, very much, Jeffrey, for being with us live, and thank you, Tanisha. Thank you, Mary, for coming in, and thank you to everyone for coming to join us live on this episode. And I'm looking forward to seeing your emails about who attended or who watched the replay, and then we can give away those prizes, right, sir?
Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So it's the same link. If they, um, just click on that link and they'll be redirected to the replay. And then if they watch the replay, I'll see that they did and that they registered. And then I'll tell you, you can just let them know that they can send you a private message or what have you, let them know that, to let you know that they attended, then that I can check and verify. And so we'll just have, hopefully by next week, everyone will have won the 4 prizes, because we would love to give that away. Right, sir?
We're giving them away.
Yes. Oh, I forgot.
declare it.
Exactly. Tell us, please, can you explain just very, very briefly, maybe less than a minute, about your sword, your samurai sword? What does that symbolize to you, and what does that mean to you, and what is the reason you put it back there?
Well, I guess it's been a couple of years ago now. I got a chance to spend some time in Japan and actually went to a samurai class. Got dressed up as a samurai and took sword lessons. It was amazing.
Wow.
But one of the things that with the sword is that when you're going into a situation and you want to make a difference and you need to cut into a situation, you can either use a butter knife or you can use a razor sharp samurai sword. And I'm not a butter knife kind of guy. I tend to be very precise, and I want to go in and have a clean cut. Let's get rid of those things, just like Tanisha was talking about, that people are holding on to. They're like anchors. They're holding us back. Let's cut that away, and then let's set sail and move forward. And so that's what that sword reminds me of all the time, is that precision, cutting away and moving forward.
My goodness, that's a powerful picture, Jeffrey. It really gives us a vision about what it's for, and how really precise it is, and how very sharp these blades, these samurai blades, are. So awesome stuff. Wow. Thank you. And yes, and
that's
Joanne,
actually more for me, so it's a reminder.
very cool. I know it. I have a sword, but it's the Braveheart sword back there. I bought it from my husband. Yeah, on our for our wedding, I gave that to him as a gift. So it's up there somewhere. But anyway, Joanne says, "Thank you, Jeffrey. I just got unstuck. Someone just got unstuck on the show, Jeffrey. So thanks. Isn't that cool?"
Okay, you know why? Because guess what, Jackie? You declared that in the beginning, because what was the word of the day?
Transformation.
So that's fantastic. Well,
Wow.
I'm so glad to hear that, and thank you for sharing, Joanne. Then today was worth it.
Absolutely. And Joanne says, "Jeffrey, you are a surgeon general." Oh, my word. See there? And Joanne says, "Wahoo!" And then Carmen says, "All that Jeffrey touched on has addressed her beliefs." Everything that you touched on today addressed her beliefs. Wow.
Wow.
Jeffrey, you have eternal fruit. From this time we spent together, you have eternal fruit that remains, because, right, that's what we want. We don't just want fruit that's temporary. We want fruit that remains. And Jeffrey, I just want to affirm you. I want to say thank you for who you are. Thank you for what you've shared with us today. Thank you for investing your time, your wisdom, the skill level that you're at, and for investing and giving us these incredible, epic prizes, as well as offering discovery sessions with you. So thank you. I affirm you as one who's just so highly integrous, a high integrity gentleman. You are so generous, you're authentic, and I would just want to say thank you. And I am so honored to have met you. I'm so honored that you are a guest on my show today. So thank you, Jeffrey. I want to give you the final word, sir.
Well, wow. Thank you. And I walk away with that feeling of namaste, where I recognize that greatness in you, and I am so excited about what you're up to, and what an honor it's been for me to be here and to share with you and your tribe, and thank you so much for inviting me on your show. And I don't believe this is the last time you are going to ever do anything together. So I really appreciate you, Jackie, and I wish you the best. And I'm so excited because what you are doing is going to impact generations for many, many years. And you're a jewel. So thank you. Namaste.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeffrey. And you're getting just so many raving comments and compliments in the chat room. Carmen says, "Thank you for investing in our lives today, Jeffrey." Tanisha says, "Thank you, Jeffrey, for the clarity that you gave Tanisha." Wow. Joanne says, "Jeffrey, you also have an eternal heart." So thank you so much. All right. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us live today on today's episode of the 21st Century Legacy Letters show. Look forward to connecting with you again next week. And again, I would love to have Jeffrey on my show. You know, not, I know he's busy. He's a very busy gentleman, but Jeffrey, I just want to let you know that whenever you get the chance, just say, yes, I'm ready to do another show with you. So thank you so much again, sir. Appreciate you so much. And Lord bless you and keep you, sir. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.